So, Mpo, I know that actually me and you worked together before.
Yeah, we did. So that was quite long time. So that was quite long.
Very much interesting.
Mhm.
But because the viewers know me
Mm.
and and because they've seen me before, so I just want you to at least introduce yourself to them.
Okay.
Tell them what you do so that at least, I mean, as we continue, everybody gets to know who we are talking to. I
Oh,
know now I'm not talking to Justin Paul. I'm
yeah.
talking.
No, not a lot of things have changed,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Mm.
So obviously, but as a human being, we do grow.
Yeah.
So yeah, my name is Calvin Mpomtsuli.
Yeah.
So I think I'm the founder of Sunshine Consulting Service.
Mm.
I think it started in 2016. Yeah, 2016 we started, but we started being operational around 2018
Mm.
because from 2016 I was still working for ESCOM, and
Mm.
then I left ESCOM in 2018.
Mm.
Then I decided that okay, it's better I start something from my own because I've been working from different industry,
Mm.
so mining, construction, engineering, manufacturing.
Mm.
So for me, it was no longer a challenge. So that's
Not
why I
anymore.
said, okay, let me start something so that I can able to create jobs. So
Mm.
because as you can see in South Africa, there's a lack of employment.
Mm.
So I've decided, so let me start something then so that I can able to develop youth.
Mm.
And then so that's why I started this institution. So it was mainly about the health and safety. We're doing consulting and also the training.
Mm.
So we are accredited with the HWCTA and also the QCTO.
Mm.
And then so yeah, but for me to be where I am, I did study a lot.
I
And
know.
yeah, I've studied at UNIS. I think I was doing the program in safety management for 1 year.
Mm.
And then after then I've done the diploma in safety management with UNISA.
Mm.
And then when I'm done with a diploma, then I did the BTech
Mm.
in safety management still with UNISA.
Yes.
And then I've decided to do the NIBOSH
Mm.
international diploma,
Wow.
which is based in UK.
Yes.
So just in case if maybe you want to work abroad, and then
Mm.
so because that's one of the requirements that you need to have a NIBOSH.
90%.
Yeah, in order if you want to work in Saudi, you want to work in UK, you want
Mm.
to work, yeah, that's abroad.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
A very much detailed profile.
Yeah,
Very much detailed. I love it quite a lot. So I know most people start companies, more especially your training companies, or they
yes.
offer training related services, but they don't have so much knowledge. But yeah, thank you so much for equipping yourself with that
Yes.
type of knowledge. Why do you think it was important for you to have so much academics before you can start um, to offer training?
Yeah, I think the most important. So if you do have like a lot of knowledge, you do have skills, you do have a lot of information.
Mm.
So it can also equip you as a person,
Mm.
and then so that you don't set up yourself for a failure. So because if you have information, you can able to help others and also transfer the skills and the knowledge to others. So which is why I think is very important.
Mm.
And then, so maybe the reason why I've started the institution, it was also this for the same reason, so that I can able to equip learners
Mm.
with the skills and knowledge, so that they can able to work. So, but the difference is okay. The reason why we decided maybe to get accreditation with the QCTO
Mm.
is that with the QCTO, so it's not only about the training, maybe only they also include the what they call the experience or
Mm.
the experiment or the practicals.
Mm.
So people they just learn the theory,
Mm.
but when they have to apply for the job, and then it's very difficult. So but with the QCTO, because like for example, we do have a course which we offer for professional health and safety practitioner.
Mm.
So what we do, we also place those candidates or the students at the different companies, mining on the construction site, where they can able to do the actual. Let's say, for example, they conducting the meeting. They sit on the meeting on the panel, so they also have a say. So all the toolbox talk or the risk assessment, they do it on site. So because if you're talking about the crane, so some of the people they've never experienced, they've never seen the crane. But when you take them on site and then you see how the crane operate and all, it also works easier for them so that they can able to understand better. They're applying the theory which they learn in the class, and then now they're applying it on site on a practical basis. So.
No, I love it. As an entrepreneur, then, when do you say it's actually the time for me to switch over?
Okay, so each and every individual, so they do set themselves a target that by when, so they want to start a business. Because there are people who just like they're passionate about working, so but not being like an entrepreneur or the self-employed. So, but it depends like on the field where you're working, maybe you're passionate about it. So, if you're passionate about the industry which you're working or but it depends also because not each and every one of us gonna be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But if you see yourself like if you're passionate about opening a business, you can able to communicate better with the clients or with other people. So those are part of the skills maybe which can apply when you become maybe a business person. So it's that like a very long time. So because even myself, I knew that okay, one day I'm gonna be a business person. Because while I was still at high school and then I was selling sweets. And then, so I also had the employees while I was still at high school. At the other grades, they were also selling sweets for me. And then, so when the school is over, then I can able to collect money and then start paying the salaries. And that's why I said I knew from very early age that okay, one day I'm gonna become a business person. So for myself, I just set as a target that by 30 years, when I reach 30 years, I don't wanna work for each and every. So I don't wanna work at all. I just wanna start my own thing, even though it's not easy, like to start because when you start a business, you're just thinking that okay, clients is just gonna be raining like rains, you know. So they're just gonna be arriving at your premises and requesting your services. But it take a lot of dedication. There's a lot of marketing and there's a lot of paperwork administration. So because when you are SMME or you're just a self-employed, so obviously you have to do the marketing by yourself because you don't have like a resources. Yeah, you start doing everything by yourself. You have to do registration. You have to get do the SARS returns and then all those things. So
By
which is a
yourself.
lot, yeah, by yourself. And then so, but if you can't, because some of the things, okay, someone maybe just help you once and then just try to get some research and say, can I be able to do it myself? And then you end up doing it yourself. But the moment when you start growing, because you have a lot of commitment, so that's where you request for the other services, like getting the accountant, getting someone who's gonna help you with the marketing. So yeah, but when you start and then so because you don't have a lack of resources, you do everything by yourself. So it requires a lot of time. So, but if you just maybe to give an advice, maybe for the youth who want to start their own business, is that okay? So they have to have a passionate about the business which they start because at the end of the day, it's not only about making money. It's way more than that. You have to be passionate and then consistent and then persistent and also committed to the business which you're gonna start. Because people they don't buy like what you say, they buy you. So how you represent yourself, and then is very important. So yeah, that's the advice which I can able to give to the youth is that yeah, but even though it's when you start, it's not gonna be like easy. It's just not gonna just flow like other bigger business, but just have to be passionate and then also be patient and then start building slowly and then you're gonna get there.
So I'm hearing you explaining a lot of challenges that you are explaining to be on your day to day, or maybe when you start. You're saying that people must not expect like your quick returns and stuff like that without enduring this thing and so on. So, so maybe if you can just re-clarify to a person to say, these are your day-to-day challenges. Maybe after now that you have set up, but you do need to go through. What would you say are your challenges then?
Yeah, on the challenges is that okay. So remember, you when you start, you're doing everything by yourself,
Mm.
and then you're doing the marketing. So which means you'd be answering like all the calls, responding to the emails, people requesting, hey, please send us the quotations. And then now you're busy sending the quotations. So just the main challenge is that you're doing all the things at once. So
By
you do
yourself.
by yourself. So which is also maybe forcing you like to work even extra hours. Sometimes you night cross nighting and then while busy
What?
working. So just to make it remember, so this is more like an investment.
Mm.
So you just making sure that okay, because if you're working for a company, you
Mm.
work from 8 to 5, and then when you
That's
go home,
it.
then that's it.
Yes.
But because this is your baby, you have to make sure you can't say, okay, I'm tired.
Mm.
So if there's some like deadlines, and then you have to work right through up
Yeah.
until so that you can able to deliver to the client. Because remember, you're not gonna get like a lot of clients. So the client, the few clients which you get, you
Mm.
just have to make sure that you keep them, and then you keep them by providing like quality services.
Mm.
So and then make sure that okay, you provide within like the given time.
Mm.
So if they said okay, they want the safety file like maybe within 2 days. So but we know like on a normal day, so safety file might take approximately maybe a week,
Mm.
depending on the scope of work, because there's a lot of risk assessment, there's a lot of input which you have to consider.
No, man. So you also produce safety files for clients.
Yes, yes, we do the safety files.
So so maybe if you can just tell someone who doesn't know, how do you then prep a safety file? Where do you begin?
Uh, yeah, for us, in order to begin with the safety files, so obviously we have to get like the scope of work.
Okay.
Then when you get the scope of work, what kind of activity are you gonna be conducting?
Mm.
And then we're gonna able to get the SHE specification from the client, and then
Mm.
also the baseline risk assessment.
Yes.
So that, because remember the safety file it have like be site specific
Yes.
according to the SHE specification which is coming from the client.
Mm.
So that when it gets, because most of our files, then when you evaluate them, so you're not gonna say, okay, there's something which is outstanding.
Mm.
So it give you the guarantee that okay, if you do the safety file,
Mm.
and then it's gonna be get approved during the evaluation. Because this thing of going back and forth, and then you
Mm.
bring the safety file, okay, this is outstanding, so the risk assessment doesn't align with the scope of work.
Ah.
So from us, and then so we just have to make sure that you're being a perfectionist.
No, hence you had
Mm,
to,
mm.
I mean, complete your national diplomas, your BTech and so on, and also having worked before somewhere. So you do have the necessary knowledge to be able to do so.
Yes, yes, yeah, because now since we have the team, we also have equipped the transfer the skills and also the knowledge to our team.
Mm.
Because if the company is growing, so you can't be expecting like to doing everything. So so that's why we do have the variety of team, and then we
Yes.
can able to do the safety file. So all those skills, all the knowledge which I've acquired
Mm.
years back,
Mm.
and then while I was still studying, so yeah, actually transfer to others, and then
Now you
so
have translated that into
mm,
an entrepreneurship. It's now a business skill. So,
yeah.
but what would you say normally goes into the safety file? What are the basic things, maybe five basic things that are supposed to be in the safety file?
Okay, the most important thing is that you're supposed to have the occupational health and safety plan.
Okay.
So, and then also the letter of good standing, the risk assessment, and also the medicals from the employees who are going to be working on that site. And then also like the safe working procedures, because if you have like a variety scope of work,
Mm.
so it inquire like a lot of safe working procedure or the method statement, so which is also vital to be on the health and safety file.
Mm. So someone has to be putting that together to make a complete safety file.
Yeah.
But as far as I understand, things like your risk assessments and stuff like that, those have to be done by a competent person. Why would you say is the reason why a risk assessment has to be done by a competent person?
Yeah, so that one is a legal compliance. So according to construction regulation 2014, is that okay? You can't have someone like doing the risk assessment because on health and safety, you only do something which you are competent to do. So because now if you just get anybody to do the risk assessment, obviously it's not going to be site specific. So but if you get a competent, someone whose knowledge is also we have information on how to do the risk assessment, and then it's gonna be important, and then also a part of the legal compliance. So because when you do the audit, and then you said, okay, who conducted? Who's your risk assessor? Does that person have the competence to do that? So if he doesn't have, then it's a findings.
So guys, those of you that starting businesses, when you are required to compile a safety file, you know where to get your safety files compiled. Compilations are done here, and they are done by competent people because, like it's explaining, it is a legal requirement for someone to be competent before they can conduct a risk assessment. What would you say are some of the omissions that people actually omit in a risk assessment? Maybe that could be fueled by lack of competency.
Yeah. So because some of the things which you have identified while doing like an audit, we find people like they just write something which is supposed to go under the hazard, they put it on a risk because the lack of understanding. So even the ratings, like for example, see the tripping and falling, they rate it high, but someone like falling at height where there's gonna be a fatality, they rate it low. So which it doesn't. You can able to see that the person is not competent to do that.
Guys, competency. It is a legal requirement.
Definitely.
It is a legal requirement. So let's comply. So one more thing that you explained is that you also need to have a letter of good standing, which I think most of the employers, it's something that they actually get to omit in their safety file or even in their setup of employment. Why do we need to have a letter of good standing?
So the letter of good standing is very important. Yeah, because you're having the employees who are working on site, and then so that letter of good standing is just gonna able to protect, and then in case like if someone get injured on site, they can't be able to work, and then so they're gonna be compensated, and then the other good thing is that if someone is injured at your premises during working hours, so you're just gonna take that person to private hospital. So you're not gonna pay even a cent because everything is covered under under on the letter of good standing, which is quite. So which means you just gonna take that person to hospital, any private hospital, could be Netcare, could be any expensive hospital, then it's fine. So, but you're not gonna pay. So that doctor is just gonna claim under COIT. So which means it's through the compensation. So even that employee can, which is injured, can able to claim under the compensation under COIT.
So would you say, in terms of importance of having a letter of good standing, so actually this is a mandatory requirement?
Yeah, it is a must. So when we do like the evaluation of the safety file, so if you find that you don't have a letter of good standing, so unfortunately then we can't be allow you to work, or you can't approve the safety file.
Oh, you have to now decline it.
Yeah, because that's a mandatory requirement.
The contractor, it means he has to go back and then apply for one, and he can now resubmit the file for evaluation.
Definitely. Without the letter of good standing, then which is just unfortunate.
We can't engage.
Yeah, we can't.
It's a risk on its own.
Yeah, it's a risk because now we're having someone who's injured Because remember, all the injury or IOD, which is injury on duty. So when you take the patient to the clinic or to the public hospital, so they're gonna ask, okay, how did you get injured? You said, no, I was busy working. The moment you mention the word work, said, no, you can't be here because you must go to private hospital. We can't be able to help you because you covered under the coin. So they have to complete the form for compensation.
So to employers that are not compliant, therefore, with those, what would you say is actually a risk for him?
Okay, so in terms of the compliance, is very important. You'll realize once you had an incident, when the Department of Labor come and then to do their own investigation, said, okay, was this person competent to conduct that sort of an activity? And then so we need a proof for that. So you don't have a proof. So how did you allow this person to work while they don't have a competence or they are not trained or qualified to do that? So it's very important. So that's why, like, before each and every company like start to do any activity, and then it's also the legal requirements, because if you check according to Section 8 of Occupational Health and Safety Act, it says the employer must provide a safe working environment without the risk to the employees.
Oh,
which is
hang
very
on,
important.
please hold it there.
Yeah.
So it's not an employee who has to make himself safe first. It's the employer who has to make the environment safe for employees.
Yeah, before you even start allowing people or to start working, so the employer, it's their responsibility to make sure that the environment is safer as before you even like bringing the employees. So, but when you already make the work area safe, or you already mitigate maybe the hazard or the risk, so that's where you can able to bring the because remember, with the employer, they only have to comply with your like safe working procedures or safe working standards.
Those are what the employees.
Yes.
Employees have to comply with that.
Yes.
But the employer therefore has to make it safe for employees to be able to work.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's why I said, okay, they have to provide the personal protective equipment, they have to provide the supervision, they have to provide the trainings just to make, and also the safe working machinery. So just to make sure that the employees, and also that's why they brought the supervision and also the safety officer, just to make sure and manage to make sure that those employees are working. But they also have the responsibility to make sure that, okay, because if you check, so the first point under the employees, I think it's Section 14 of Occupational Health and Safety.
Yes.
So the duties of employees
At work.
Yeah, at work. Such, okay, ensure your health and safety, and then also for the others.
Oh,
Yeah.
So then, based on what you have just said now, if an employee is also mandated to fulfill some legal obligations, like making sure that they are safe and stuff like that, what happens therefore if you find, as an employer, you find an employee who is not complying or conforming with the standards that you have set in relation to health and safety?
Okay, so yeah, first of all, and then so before they even start working, then you're gonna do the induction. You're gonna induct them. Okay, these are the safe working. This is how we're gonna work to make sure that you guys are working safely. And then so they also signed. Okay, they attended the register. There's an attendant register which they sign to ensure that this thing was communicated with us, all the safe working procedures, and then they're gonna communicate it with all the employees. And then so when you find that, okay, this thing was communicated with you, but you're not complying, so obviously that's where the disciplinary measures comes in. That, okay, so you didn't comply, and then so it was communicated with you. Here's the proof that you have signed that it was communicated with you. Why didn't you comply? So like for example, find people, they're just working, climbing on the scaffolding, so they're doing working at height activity, but they're not even hooking up. So, and then it was communicated with them on the fall protection plan. So that's where you're gonna maybe take the precautionary measures, and then also disciplinary actions with regard to that, just to enforce the health and safety. because at the end of the day, we don't want someone to get injured. So if someone come with 2 hands, so we want them to go back with 2 hands, because it's very difficult to go and report to their families that, okay, your husband and then lost a hand at work. So those are the things those are the kind of situation you don't want to see yourself in, and then reporting those kind of bad news. So
because I think it over and above an employee not having complied, it says a lot about an employer's, obligations and the interest around health and safety matters. But that's where then people like you then come in, because you're saying you're offering services like that in the form of training.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's where we do equip learners with that kind of a knowledge, so that they have like the brief understanding with regard to the importance of the health and safety. So because if you don't like mostly remind, so that's why like at the workplace they do the toolbox talk, they do the DSTI with the daily risk assessment. So just so that they can able to remind the employees with regard to the hazard or with regard to the risk, which is also important. But it all goes along that, okay, each and every company is supposed to have the health and safety culture, and then so that you can able to communicate those kind of information, and then so that you also enforce. That's why we do have the supervisor. For the supervisors, not only like ensuring like, okay, we're getting the production, but also making sure that people are working safely, and then that's why you also have the safety officer, the safety consultant. So which is all, we also do the consulting with regard to the health and safety.
So at that time when you do consulting, that's when you're actually helping an employer to be in good standing in terms of health and safety issues.
Yes, definitely. So that's why we do have like the safety officers, which we place on different sites, and then able to enforce the health and safety to make sure that the company or the clients comply with the Occupational Health and Safety Act and other legislations.
Happy man. You guys are doing some good work, which I love, because it therefore helps the employer to comply. It helps employees to comply. It keeps people alive at work. But the other aspect that we have explained is that you do a lot of evaluations in the form of auditing.
Definitely.
So how do you then go about that? Do you guys do auditings only on safety files, but do you also audit the site? How do you guys navigate around that?
So, okay, what we do, we start doing the audit on the documentation, just to ensure the compliance, and then we check all the documentation. Does it comply with all the legislation? Because we do have a checklist which we use to conduct an audit. And then so after we're done with it, so we're also doing the visual one, so where we're gonna able to go around the site, do the inspection, checking that, okay, people are working, wearing their correct PPE. So does the safe working procedures, which is documented, is it comply? Like, is it more practicable? Does it communicate, or does it correlate with what people are doing on site? So those are part of the findings. So the signage, like, you find, especially on the construction side, you find people, they just smoke wherever they want. But yeah, there's not even like a smoking area or designated smoking area. So those will be the finding. Okay, so because you can't be blaming people that they smoke everywhere. Was it communicated? Is there a signage, a place where there's a smoking area where they can able to smoke? So you find on other side they don't even have like the assembly point, like even the emergency exit in case of emergency. So they don't even know what to do during the emergency. So that's
chaotic.
so that's why it's very important that the company also do the drill, emergency drill. So just to check the readiness in case if there's any emergency which can occur.
Nice. I hear you. So let's say now you have audited someone. What happens next?
So when we audit, so obviously we have to draft the report with regard to the finding, what we have identified. So on the visual part, we're also gonna send the pictures which you took as part of the deviations, and then also the findings. Then we send all those reports, and then also giving you like the due date to close all those findings.
You give that to the employer.
Yeah, we give it to the client or the employer, so that they can able to close that. Because depending on some of the findings, like they are life threatening. So if it's life threatening, then we stop the activity.
So you stop the site.
Yeah, we stop the site.
To make it safe.
Yeah, to make it safer.
No one should so that no one should die.
Yeah, so we can't have someone dying while you say. Then maybe after a few days, say, no, I've seen that, so you could have saved life. Because remember, our main duty is to save life and to make sure people are working safely.
I hear what you're saying, and I've got a follow-up question. So, what is the risk of, let's say, you guys now have done the audit, and then you've given the report to the client? What is the risk that sits with the client who is not implementing your recommendations based on an audit that you have conducted?
So the risk is that, okay, they might have someone getting injured, or maybe in a worst case scenario, someone dies on site. So due to non-compliance. So that's why it's very important that because it won't help if the employer so doesn't also enforce the health and safety. The only important is the production, and then making sure they're finishing whatever work. But on the advice of the health and safety, or maybe not enforcing the health and safety, making sure that people are working safely. So it's also their responsibilities. That the risk is that, okay, they can lose even more, because if someone is injured, so obviously you're gonna have a shortage of employee. That person is maybe booked off for more days. You have to get the replacement. You have to train that person, and then there you already have someone who's already qualified, who already understand the company culture, and then already understand the site. Also have the good relationship with other employees, and then also if there's an incident, there could be damage to the equipment. So those equipments have to be replaced in order to continue with the production. So that's why, like, if the company doesn't enforce health and safety, so there might be a lot to lose. So it might not happen today, but when it happens, so that's where you're gonna realize that you spend a lot of your flu. Because even the Department of Labor, if they find that the company was not complying, so they're can able to close the site while they're still busy doing the investigation. So while they close the site, so that's where, like, you're losing, because you already have the committed that, okay, maybe before the end of the month, you have to complete the project. Now they're running out of the deadline, so you can't able to meet the deadline, so which is part of the loss.
So would you say then for that lack of compliance on site doesn't have only a direct impact to the employee, but it affects the contractor, it affects the client, it affects your finances, it affects everything around you?
Yeah, it affects. It's also indirectly affecting, because, for example, so if someone is injured, Department of Labor close the site, so the employees will be sitting at home. So while they're sitting at home, so the employer will say no work, no pay, so we're not gonna pay. So which means financially it's also affecting the employees. So while the employer can't able to finish the site in time, and then also it's gonna also affect on the COID, because now it's more risky. Like, the company is more is regarded as a risky company, because now there's someone who died, there's someone who's seriously injured. So even the money which you pay, like on an annual fee, because you have to pay the annual fee on the letter of standing on the COID, and so it's gonna increase, because your company is regarded as a high risk company. So even when you apply, like, for the tenders, so that information, it does appear that, okay, you had an injury, you had the incident. So when, like, the client want to do business with you, say, no, this company is high risk. So someone dies while they're busy working. So which means it's also affecting you, like, as a company, to get other jobs, or to get employment, or the contracts. Yeah.
Having said that, how would you say it's important for contractors and companies to comply?
Yeah, I think is that one is non-negotiable. It's very important. It's very important. It's mandatory that each and every company have to comply. So if you don't comply, and then unfortunately, then it's gonna affect your company. So they're gonna be like a severe effects, and then so which you can't able to control. So that's why it's very important that you have to comply. But if you don't comply, you can even like get arrested, like the CEO of the company, like someone dies, and then when the Department of Labor do the investigation, they find the company was not complying. So because you as a director, so you sign the policy, because each and every company they do have a health and safety policy. So where the director and then is committed, because it's called the policy is called the statement of commitment, where the director is committing himself or herself that they're gonna provide a safe working environment, and then making sure people are trained, making sure like all the visitors, the public are safe. And then, but when we checked, it was just a paperwork. So, but practically, then it was the company was not compliant. So that's where like the director of the company can be able to get arrested or pay fine for about 200,000, or maybe stay in jail for approximately 2 years.
From my viewers section in the comment section, if you guys are watching my channel for the first time, I'm kindly requesting you guys to subscribe, to also like the video. Please also share it so that, this type of information can be able to reach a lot of companies out there. This man is telling you guys a lot of legally required information for you guys to be able to operate. So he's also mentioning the fact that you can operate safely for the longest time up until an incident happens. So you don't want to learn these types of things through pain, through jail, and stuff like that. So the best you should be doing now is to check at the bottom of the screen. You will see his contacts. Please contact him so that he can be able to come to you guys, offer you guys services, trainings, audits, and stuff like that. So, do they have to come here, or do you visit them for services?
Yeah, some of the clients they do come at our premises, and then we also do to go to their premises, and then also do conduct the training. So like depending, like if there's four or more people, and then we can able to go to their premises and then to conduct a training. So it makes things easier for them. But if it's just one or two employees, they have to come to our premises.
You advise them to come here.
Yes.
So, what types of audits are they supposed to be aware of as companies or employers?
Yeah, so it's just a compliance audit, and then to make sure that they are complying with the Occupational Health and Safety Act, and also the legislation. And then we do like the compliance audit.
You do compliance audit, so you
but
visit them.
yeah,
Okay.
even like on the company, because we also like develop and then also implement the system, the ISO 9001 for quality, and then ISO 14001 for environment, and then also ISO 45001 for the health and safety. So we also do the gap analysis audit, and then to check like in terms of the compliance. And then, but if they don't have like a system, we normally do develop the system from the scratch, and then also help them in terms of the implementation. And then we also partnered with the certification body, so we can able to certify them to get the certificate for the quality, for environment, or also for health and safety.
So how important is it for an entity to have a certification? Is it everyone who can have it, or is it mandatory? Is it a nice to have,
No, I think for me, in terms of the growth of the company, like let's say for example, you're supplying the product, and then it's a mandatory that you must have like ISO 9001 certified. because you make sure that okay, the product you supplying are for the certain quality, and then you meet certain requirements. And then also when you're applying for the tenders, there's certain documentation for the quality which is required. But if you do have a certification for the ISO 9001, which is the quality, you then have to submit like the manual, the target and objective, because you already certified, which means those things are, you just submit the certificate. So it just also limit in terms of the documentation which you have to submit. So that's why it's also very important to have.
So it displays a lot of confidence about you.
Yes, yes, it also play a lot of confidence that okay, in terms of the environmental you're covered, and then and with regard to the waste disposal and managing the environment, like prevent the littering and other things, and then also with the health and safety, and then it makes sure that okay, you have a system in place, and then so which means it's gonna be easier to work with you because there's already a system in place for health and safety, and the system is a continuous thing. So it's not some documentation you do and then you just leave. So it's a continuous thing. So which is operate within the whole company.
Nice. So let's talk to someone, an aspiring safety officer right now who says, "Look, what you guys are talking about, it's what I want to do, but where do I start?"
So okay, maybe we with regard to the safety officer. So like who want maybe to start their own company, or maybe to study, or maybe or to implement the system. So they can able to study for the ISO, for the, let's do the combine like ISO 9001, 14,001, and also 45,001. So that's why we call it the SHEQ. So because you don't want only to deal with the health and safety, but either way these things they do correlate. So if you can have both for like the safety, environment, and also the quality, it's gonna be advantageous like for different industries. Okay, if you're working for the manufacturing company, they have to make sure that okay, providing the quality, and then also making sure people are working safely, and then also in terms of the environmental, and then you're taking care of the environment. But if you want to maybe to start your own company, and then you should have be more passionate, you can start maybe by doing the safety files while you're busy doing the safety file. But make sure that your safety file is not generic. You don't do the copy and paste. You're doing for the client, because if you're doing the copy and paste, you don't put a lot of time or a lot of effort. So obviously that client is not gonna come back again. So which means the business already failed before it even starts. So that's why you have to be more committed, more passionate, and then when you're providing like the service to the client, because at the end of the day, also have to do like the customer satisfactory survey, and then so that they can give you the feedback in terms of the happiness. Are they happy with your service? So, but if they give you negative feedback, so take it as something positive. It gonna those negative feedback is just gonna help you to grow.
Okay. So, but these types of courses that you are explaining to someone who wants to study, it's some of the courses that you guys do here.
Yeah, with the ISOs, we just have a joint venture with the institution which provide those services, and then but from our side, we just only help with the implementation and development of the system, and then that's it. And then they take over on the certification.
Great. So, and you also, I believe you also advise them to, I mean, if you're saying you want to be an entity, they have to be registered with your CIPC compliance with the rules of the land.
Yeah, so because especially when you're working on the construction, so it's a mandatory that each and everyone have to be registered with the SACP CMP, and then which we also help a lot of people in terms of getting like the certificate, or maybe drafting the reports so that they can able to qualify, and then also preparing them for the examination. So because we also have at our institution, because a lot of people like who have studied at Sunshine Consulting Service.
Mm,
So all of them they are working
mm,
because when we send them to do the practicals,
mm,
we send them like on a construction site.
mm,
So even if before they even finish
mm,
like studying,
mm,
so if they impress the client while
mm,
maybe doing conducting the meeting or doing the risk assessment, doing the
mm,
presentation, or maybe having a meeting. So normally, if they express themselves and then they're doing better that side, the clients absorb them before they even finish. So while they're
mm.
still busy doing the practical,
Nice,
so
man.
that's the advantage because it's not only about the theory but
Mm,
also the practical as well.
mm. No, thank you so much for helping the community, man, to be employed. I mean, in our country or in Africa generally or in the world, we're struggling with lack of unemployment. But it's actually very worse in our country. But I'm very much happy to hear that you guys, I mean, help people out. You connect them to destinies and stuff like that. And you also equip them with the necessary knowledge that they need to use or to be equipped with when they go out there to work someone.
Yeah, because it won't be nice, and then you teach the student to spend a lot of time, hours. Sometimes you even give them extra lesson to make sure that they are on par,
Mm,
and then only to see them sitting like they are not working. So that part is very difficult. So that's why we ensure that all our students like they get employment. So that's why like we're working with different companies,
mm,
and then so they know, okay, if you get the student or the candidate from Sunshine,
mm,
so obviously that person is not gonna disappoint us
mm.
because they already have like the theory and also the practical part. So they will just put them on side and then they start doing the job. So
It's a plug and play type of
yeah,
solution that you guys provide.
yeah, it's a plug and play because what I've realized, a lot of people, so even though they already maybe have a diploma
Mm,
or any other qualification for health and safety,
mm,
but they lack the practical part.
mm,
So because if they just on an interview, they just give you maybe a scenario that okay, if someone getting injured, so what are the steps maybe you have to follow?
mm.
Then so you don't you don't know because you don't have that kind of an exposure.
Yes.
So but with us, and then it's easier because you're gonna have that exposure, you're getting to site,
Mm,
and then you're learning how to investigate, before you even complete like your qualification,
mm,
you can sit on the incident investigation panel,
mm,
and then so that you can able to learn on how to investigate the incident, and
mm,
then what are the things which you have to focus on, so how to ask the questions or maybe from the witness,
mm,
because at the end of the day it's all about like finding the root cause of the incident.
mm. So what are the minimum requirements for someone to have in place before they can start having contact with you guys?
Oh, okay. So with regard to the occupational health and safety practitioner, which is the main course for 1 year,
Mm,
so we need someone who have a metric,
mm,
and then but with the other short courses,
mm,
so as long the person is able to read and write,
mm,
and then so that's where they can able to attend like the first aid and the firefighting.
mm,
So we don't need the metric to have to train
mm,
someone for firefight extinguishing the fire.
mm. So there, as long as I mean the person is willing to come and learn and engage with you guys, then you are able to assist them.
Yes, we can able to assist them. So and then there's also the assessment after each and every training
Oh, that you
to
use.
to assess whether the person is competent or
Okay.
not.
So guys, please don't forget if you're joining us for the first time, um, so I'm with the owner of you call it Sunshine Consulting
Consulting service, yes.
Services. So he's changing the narrative. He is offering trainings. He does audits and a lot of things. And I mean, he's connecting people to employment. He offers services whereby he equips you with the knowledge that you need to be able to be usable in a workplace. I mean, most people that are employed for the first time, they come to site very clueless. They know absolutely nothing. But this man is changing the narrative. It's like, guys, I understand raw as you are, come this side. Let us help you. Let us connect you with your prospective employers. But therefore, you have to go through this and that. And that's what he has been unpacking the entire time. What I'm asking you guys to do right now is that if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, please like it, please share it so that this type of information can reach as many South Africans as possible, as many Africans as possible. So, you guys, are you only limited to the boundaries of being in Gauteng, in South Africa? What are the limits for you guys?
Yeah, only the sky is the limit for us. So
Mm.
yeah, we also I think we also did the training abroad. I think we had another project in DRC.
In DRC.
Yeah, so but the challenge we had is with that, okay, only few people speak English that side, so they're using French.
Mm.
So yeah, that was a bit of a challenge. And then because some of the school when they go to learn and then they only learn French and Swahili, but at least bit fluent in Swahili. So and then so yeah, I can speak a bit of French and also very fluent also in Swahili. And then I think we did a lot of training around Africa.
Outside of
Yeah,
South African borders.
yeah, outside of South African borders. So yeah, but even though it was limited, but yeah, we also did that. So it was a bit challenging, but yeah, at least now we can do it all over the country. So yeah, I think that was also very important. Also Lesotho, and then we also did the training that side. So there was another site. I think it was for WHO. We were working that side, and then yeah, I think that's also only the sky is the limit for us. We can do the training all over the country.
So the passport is getting stamped. It's getting so when people come here, so this is where they reach you guys.
Yeah, so when you arrive, so you're gonna get the security at the gate, and then you mention that you're coming to see Calvin and from Sunshine. So you come here, they're gonna direct you here to the receptionist. So you're gonna meet the lovely lady called Candice, who's very friendly.
She's always here.
Yeah, she's always here, and then she's gonna able to help you.
Yeah.
So, but if you come for a meeting, and then we're gonna go to the boardroom.
To the boardroom.
Yeah. So, but while you're still waiting, and there's just gonna offer you a coffee, and then you have a seat here on the couch.
So you've got an opportunity to drink coffee here.
Yeah, yeah, you do have opportunities. So we do have like the various kind of coffee. So as you see, we do have a coffee machine here. So which you can able to choose what you drink. But if you prefer like boiling or making yourself putting the sugar, so this one is the ready made. So you can have the mocha or chocolate, and then also the caramel cup. So depending, so those are the kind of the services, and then you'll be getting while you're waiting for me.
Yeah.
And then yes. So yeah, this is the reception where you're gonna able to see Kenyans, and then you got this our training center this side.
Let's see it.
Mm. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, this is the training center then which we're using. So if we have more learners, and then so we normally use this training center, and then we can able to train. So this is the area where the learners get equipped and then get the skills and also the knowledge.
Yeah.
So with our facilitators, so yeah, we also have the facilitators who are able to conduct the training. So yeah, so this all we can able to cut it short, and then if there's only few like the candidates or the students.
So you can divide this room into two.
Yes, as you can also close it off here, right?
Yeah.
And then making it to. So yeah, this is our projector so that you can able to display so all the information.
So guys, I encourage you guys to come here. You can see the classrooms are actually very beautiful. So this is what Sunshine Is it consulting service?
Yes, consulting.
So Sunshine Consulting Service is able to offer to you. So they take you guys very seriously. They take the service that they offer very seriously. So come down here, see what they offer you guys. So it's not that type of training that you do elsewhere. But yeah, you can see for yourself the classrooms. I mean, they're very beautiful. So I encourage you guys to come and do your trainings here. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's actually very spacious.
Yeah.
So we've been able to accommodate about 20 or more.
Oh, so you can do 20 or more people at a time.
Yes.
Okay. So, but you're saying what's your minimum number that you can have in a class?
Yeah, I can have about approximately two.
Two.
Yeah.
So from two people you offer that training, you continue.
Yeah, we continue.
Yeah.
Because we offer training almost on a daily basis because we do have like the facilitator who are mainly here like on a daily basis, providing different training. Find the other class, maybe they're busy with the first aid, on the other class they're busy with the firefighting. So that's
okay.
Yeah, because we also use the boardroom
as well as part of training.
Yeah, as part of training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, which is
so if you divide this one and they come into depending, but if you have a large amount of people, and then because we also conduct the on-site training, we go to where they are based and then also do that kind of a training. Let's say, for example, to working at high training, so they already have the scaffolding, so we go on their side and then we do also the practical. They climb on the scaffolding. They also use the safety harness to hook up.
So okay, let's just go and get the shots of the boardroom as well. I love this place.
Yeah.
I love this place.
Yeah, so this is part of also the waiting area.
This is the waiting area.
Yeah, we come and also the Okay, so yeah, this is one of our boardroom.
Yeah.
And then which we use for meeting and also for training.
Okay.
We also have the display that side
on the TV.
which we connect and then to display. We can able to conduct the training here sitting. So in the inside, this side, you can also write the notes.
Yeah.
And then so that they can able to understand. But it's part of learning so that we can able to add value to them. So which is very important.
So guys, this is very important. So this is not like your ordinary chalkboards. You remember those chalkboards in high school? So if you want to come and do your risk assessment, and guys, the risk and there's hazard as well. So you guys can come and learn here. Come. So I'm left-handed. I'm just showing you the types of trainings they do, but this is where they are writing. So you can come and learn, come and equip yourself with the knowledge that you need.
So yeah, it's very important. Then when you're done, then you just rub.
Oh, when you're done, you just have to rub it.
Then it's done.
Then you are done.
Yeah.
Easy.
Very easy.
Man, thank you so much. So I know, man, you are a very busy man.
Yeah, definitely.
But you actually offered us an opportunity to come and talk to you.
Yeah, we always do. So at the end of the day, so this kind of information, it must go to people because there's a lot of people who need this kind of information, but they don't know. So I think with the kind of exposure you're giving, so it's gonna make easier for people in order to get the access to that kind of information.
So yeah, but all from me and my channel, expertsinthefield.com. We just want to officially say that we thank you so much. And I know this is our first visit here, but we still want to come back again. So this is not the last time you see us here. So you guys will see a lot of us here. So just in the comment section as well, tell us how you would want to see the best You would want to see us, I mean, displaying lots of other videos and stuff like that. And I also want to encourage you, entrepreneur, having a small ops. It doesn't matter how small and how big or medium and stuff like that. Invite us to come and take the coverage and the type of this coverage that we are taking here. I mean, it exposes your operation out there to the world. But for us, we are gaining content, which is what we do. It's what we are called for. So before you leave, please don't forget to subscribe. So his contacts are there on the banner. Just check them there. Contact him. Also, my contacts are there. You can WhatsApp us. You can email us. You can call us and invite us to come and visit you.
Oh, okay. Yes, my pleasure to have you here then.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully then we're gonna have you
Yeah.
more often. But you're more than welcome here at Sunshine Consulting
Yeah.
anytime. So but you're doing a lot of jobs, so it's an inspiration to others then. Well done.
No, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.